Welcome to Stand on Your Business. We are here today with some amazing guests, and we actually have an audience today. We want to thank you guys for joining us. Today, we are going to talk about things that you see on social media, Instagram, Facebook, InvestFest recap. We are here to talk about the things that you don't think is possible. We are here to talk about exposure, as I learned on my trip a couple of weeks ago with Mr. King. And we are here so you can ask your questions so that way we can help you put your best foot forward to your best 2024. I am Natasha Robinson, Loans by Natasha. This is
Nina Gonzalez, Life and Loans by Nina on Instagram. So one of the first questions we actually got from the crowd, believe it or not, is what was InvestFest? Can somebody elaborate on that?
Wow.
I can. So InvestFest was like an Essence Festival style 3-day festival for entrepreneurs, business people, anybody want to learn about finance, real estate, etc. So EYL created this term called edutainment, earn your leisure, and they mix entertainment with financial literacy and education. So whereas you get this experience where you come, you get to learn about real estate from the biggest and the best in the industry, stocks from the biggest and the best in the industry, entrepreneurship, content creation, all of these different things from the biggest and the best in the industry. And when I say the biggest and the best in the industry, I mean the biggest and the best in the world. So you had P. Diddy, Robert F. Smith, who's the richest black man in American history, Mike Novogratz, who's another billionaire. There were multiple billionaires, black billionaires, and multiple millionaires as well. And Earn Your Leisure put this festival together every year in Atlanta to give people the opportunity to come and learn from all of these different heavy hitters across all of these different industries. And myself and Jemal were two of the people from Chicago who got to speak. I speak about getting started in real estate at the lowest cost of entry, and Jemal teaches about how to get started in real estate, leveraging your 9-to-5 and scaling into a multi-million-dollar real estate investor. And, it was a great experience for us to speak. But for me, where I got the most value at and where I had the most fun at was networking and meeting the people. That for me was like the biggest and the best thing because some amazing relationships were formed, some business relationships were formed, some partnerships were formed. And that's pretty much what InvestFest is and what it was designed to do and why it was created.
Awesome words. And as you can see, our two special guests today are Andre Haynes and Jemal King. Both of them have a massive social media presence that speak about those two topics. But let's get back to Natasha. I know she had a question for...
Well, I wanted to start out how all this started. So we have Nick Price in the audience in the back, and we were outside at the trailers eating at InvestFest, which is how we kind of came up with this idea. And believe it or not, guys, we had a line of people outside basically talking about how it's not possible, how the people on the stage were just kind of like the 1%. And because I'm blessed and I'm exposed, that's my new word, right? I'm exposed to you. I can text you, call you, you coming out to help us today. So I know what you do and how you do it every single day. So today we're having this event because I want people to understand that this is real. Like Dre starting from $26,000 a year, you starting as a police officer, this is real. So we want to kind of open up this to let people know that this is possible. And it's not just the 1% of people that's on the stage that are becoming successful. It is the people that are motivated and that believe that things are possible. So I just wanted to kind of let you chime in a little bit on that because people really talk to people and make them change their mind. And the people that they are talking to, they are not even people that are doing real estate every day. So I want them to talk to you so that way you can give your feedback to this small, intimate group and get them started on where they need to be so they can get to that next level. And then they could tell 5 more people. Everything you guys learned today, tell 5 more people what you learned today so that way you can make a difference as well.
Yeah. So it's crazy because I was just saying this before when we were talking that when I was backstage, and I'm going to get y'all behind the scenes of InvestFest, right? Things that y'all don't know that you can't really experience, right? And behind the scenes, I'm back there, and it was actually 3 billionaires in the back room. And I'm back there talking with them, and I'm talking with these other multimillionaires, and I'm just listening to everybody talk. And I'm listening. While I'm listening, everybody in the room was all talking about kind of the same thing, and that is they knew exactly what they wanted in life. right? That was the consensus amongst everybody that was in the room, everybody in there. And when I'm out here in the streets, or I'm out here just talking to people, family members, friends, most of the people that I'm with don't know what they want. Like, if you just think about it, if you look at your life right now, most of the things that the food you eat to some of the diseases you might have, diabetes, hypertension, all of those things are like, they come from exposure. The reason why you might have diabetes is because of the food that your parents gave you, and your parents had diabetes, and so now you got it because you're eating the same types of food. It's exposure is so crazy. If you look at the job you have, guaranteed the amount of money you have, you look at your friends that you have, everybody pretty much makes about the same amount of money, live in the same types of houses, drive somewhat similar to the same types of cars, and it's like we become products of the exposure that we get. And so when you look at all these guys that was in the back, these quote unquote 1%ers that you were talking about, I'm telling you, they just all know. Let me stop. I said they. We just.
Hey, say it again.
I'm speaking, we just all know what we want. And then so for the people that's listening in here, like, you got some people that wish for certain things in life. Like, you be wishing, man, I wish, we're talking about New Year's is coming up. And right now, a lot of you all are going to make your New Year's resolutions. And some kind of way, New Year's resolutions has become like a wish list. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the same thing. Like, you might as well be next to my kids, my 7-year-old son writing on his list of Santa Claus.
Right.
It's a wish list for you. That's what your vision has become now, where you just wishing for certain things. But the 1%ers that was backstage, they expect things to happen, and they know what it is that they want. And so I really want, some of you all listening, like this year, like take these last couple months in this last quarter of the year, and really figure out, like, what is it that you want? Because it's impossible for you to get there if you don't know where there is. I'm telling you, it's that doggone simple. Once you understand, like, this is what I want in life, and don't worry about how you're going to get it. Don't worry about how much it costs. Don't worry about none of that. First, just establish, what do I want? That's what I just gave y'all the secret to success in less than 60 seconds.
And I just want to say, it was an emotional moment for me because I speak for Jemal King. I'm ranked #1 FHA loan officer in Illinois.
Come on.
This man got on the stage at InvestFest, and he said that some of y'all don't even know where y'all going. We working hard every single day, and I was one of them people, right? He said that y'all don't even know what vehicle y'all gonna get on. So that's what inspired me to do this today, because I'm here closing 400 loans a day, and I didn't have a vehicle. I had exposure. I was connected to the world. I am connected to the world. I know everybody, but I didn't have my vehicle. I was so busy that I didn't take time for myself so I can put my plan in place so I can get to my destination. So when you spoke at InvestFest, I literally was in the audience in tears, because I'm saying I know this man personally, and I had to fly to Atlanta just to get touched today and understand that I have to put my best foot forward, and I have to create my vehicle. And when you got done speaking, I went to the back and I went to create my vehicle.
Wow.
I went and I created what was going to be next for Natasha Robinson. And this new Natasha Robinson is something that you might not have seen before. And it's about to get greater ever since, because you inspired me to create my vehicle. So I just want to say thank you for that.
No, I appreciate that. So just, thank you. Don't give me all emotional. Come on, guys. Come on.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
But y'all just think about it, because it's somebody else that's going to get blessed by that.
Yeah.
And you know how many people I worked with on the police department for 20 years, and I've seen people, man, just every day come to work without no destination in mind. And
Y'all heard that? How many of y'all really have a destination? Amen.
all right, so, and then now ask yourself, how many of y'all got a vehicle that's going to get you to your destination?
Let's go.
And see, the problem is, and this is what I find, so everybody in this room is good, but for the world that's listening, a lot of people go to work every single day, and they just hate it. Like, literally, that Monday, there's more heart attacks that happen on Mondays than any other day of the week. And that's because people dread going to work. And I used to work with police officers that, like, never, like for all y'all that, look, never speed on a Monday. Don't do no crime on a Monday. Because police officers are pissed off. Like, straight up. That's the day of the week.
I got to see when I got my tickets.
Yeah, that's the day of the week you don't want to be out there. But it's like people go to work, and I was just looking at them like, why are they so mad? And the reason why they mad, I'm going to tell y'all this. They're mad because they have made the police department the destination as opposed to making it a vehicle. Imagine if you literally packed your bags like, man, we about to go, man, we about to take this trip, man, we about to go, man, and you got the kids and all y'all packing this, everything, and then y'all put y'all luggage in the car, and then you sitting in the car, and you just like, you mad right now. That's what happens to people that make their jobs the destination. And so what I try to teach people is that your job is nothing more than a vehicle to get you to your destination. But the problem is that when you don't have a destination in mind, you sit back and celebrate the vehicle.
Yep.
And then you buy into the titles that they give you in a vehicle. Supervisor. Oh, I'm a manager.
Yes.
I'm a sergeant.
I'm number one.
I'm lieutenant. I'm the top seller, #1 producer.
Right. That ain't making me
They give you these
$83,333.
titles and it makes you feel like you accomplishing something, but guess what? There's no movement. There's no progress to the destination. And then what end up happening, this is the problem with a lot of people, and this is why you get people and they just go crazy, they quit, they get depressed, and all of this is because you literally, just imagine if you was driving your car and you didn't have a place to go. Imagine you got behind, this is how I see people, right? That go to work every day. Imagine you getting in a car and then you just take off and you like, man, I don't know where I want to go. I just want to go somewhere. And then the GPS is like, wait, and you like, man, I don't know. And you don't even type in a destination in the GPS. You just like, man, let's just go somewhere. Let me just go somewhere. And then you just drive and an hour go by. You still driving. Hour and a half go by. You driving. 2 hours go by. You driving. Then all of a sudden that gas light come on. Eventually you're going to run out of gas. And that's what a lot of you all are doing every day you go to work. You are running out of gas, you're depressed, you are like, I don't feel any progression in my life because you don't have a destination. You probably done passed by a destination several times. Meaning in your job, you probably had enough money to get you to where it is you want to be in life, but you haven't got there. So now all of a sudden, you just go through life joyriding. And a lot of you all are joyriding through life. The only reason why those so-called 1%ers got to where they got to is the easiest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. And so literally, we know what we want. That's the destination. Now, what vehicle am I going to use to get there? Boom, real estate. Cool. Boom, I'm there. Then once you get to that destination, now you move the lever and you find out what's the next destination. But now the vehicle that you had originally get you to that first destination might not get you to that second destination. So now you have to match a vehicle with that destination, meaning that some of you all stayed in your job too long. You might need to be in real estate. Real estate, you might be able to leverage your job to get you to real estate and then now use real estate to get you to the next. You know, you can't drive a car to Hawaii.
Y'all hear him talking.
You can't drive a car to Hawaii. So that's why it's important for you to know the destination because a lot of you all got the destination. You don't have the destination in mind, but you got the wrong kind of vehicle. And then when you do create a destination, that vehicle can't fly.
Can't get you there.
So it's not going to get you there. So you got to know, before you even go picking vehicles, you need to know what your destination is and go from there.
And before you get in that vehicle, you know, I want Dre to talk about that mindset because you can't pick the vehicle if you don't have that right mindset. So tell us a little bit about mindset, Dre.
Jamal just spoke directly to my story. I was at a job that I hated. Used to get up every day sick, like, is this Monday again? like every week. I'm like, it's Monday again. But after a while, I realized that like he said, this was a vehicle and to get me to a destination. My destination was time freedom. I knew that I didn't want to work for nobody. I knew I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to, start my own businesses, etc. So what was the first thing for me to do that? It was for me to eliminate my biggest bill that was hanging over my head, which was my rent and my car note at the time. Okay, how do I get rid of my rent and my car note? I want to go do what's called house hacking. I want to go purchase me a property. I want to live in it, which is going to allow me to live for free and have other people paying my mortgage for me. So when I realized that, and I'm like, the only way that I can do that is by working this job. My entire mindset shifted about my job because I'm like, now this is my out. this isn't a dead end job anymore. This is going to be my opportunity to go and qualify for that mortgage, which is going to essentially give me my time freedom. Is going to give me all of this money that I'm spending on bills. Is going to put it back in my pocket because now, again, I just eliminated my biggest bill. And that mindset shift was amazing for me. And it just, really catapulted me to a next level. I started to work overtime, make as much money as I could, understanding what I needed to do to qualify for this property, to get me to this destination that I'm trying to reach, which is essentially time freedom. And after a while, about a year and a half, I had saved up enough money from my job that I was making, about $13 an hour.
I
we
said
figured out, we did the math,
$26,000
about
equals
minimum
$13
wage
an hour.
that I thought was going to be it for me. And I leveraged this job into my first property. That first property, like I said, it allowed me to live for free. Now, all of the money that I'm working for is going back into my pocket. It allows me to now go and reinvest into other properties, start these businesses, like he said, create these other vehicles that are going to get me to time freedom. Okay, my first vehicle was the property. This is what allowed me to start the process. Now I'm using this money that I'm saving from my job to go and create other vehicles or other streams of revenue, whether it be through my merchandise, whether it be through my book, whether it be through my courses. Now these are other vehicles that are getting me to my process faster. So now, as Jemal said, I took the car to get to California, but now I'm trying to get to Hawaii. So now I got to switch the vehicle to get on the plane so I can go over the Pacific Ocean. You get what I'm saying to you? So now you add on to that, like, all right, at first I could only afford the car. All right, cool. The car got me here. Now that we're here, now we're going to use this money to get into a bigger and better vehicle to get me to a further and better destination. And that's the mindset shift thing. Your circumstances do not dictate your outcome, regardless of what your circumstances are right now. Do not let them make you feel like, okay, this is it for me. That's all. Because y'all, I come from the bottom. I come from the Ida Wells projects on the South Side right here. I come from drug abuse, drug addiction. I was adopted, all of these different things. But my mindset is what got me to where I am. I knew that God had more for me. I knew that I was supposed to be bigger. I knew that I was supposed to be better. I knew that I had a mission of helping people. Initially, I didn't know how I was going to help people, but I always had a heart and a passion to help people. And as you go on your path, there will be signs and there will be people and all of these different things that'll show you whether you're going along on the right path or you're going on the wrong path. It's up to you to pay attention to the signs. Again, you're in this vehicle and there are road signs as you're going. Some might say dead end. Some might say don't do this, don't do that. You have to pay attention to those signs, and those signs will lead you to where it is that you're trying to go. And that's a major mindset shift thing that I had to, accomplish and really change my perspective about, work, about where I was in my life, and really look at things like, there are people out here who are way worse off than I am right now. Even though my situation ain't what I think it should be, it's somebody out here struggling way harder than me. And when I realized that, I started to be more grateful. I started to operate in the now, started to appreciate God. Thank you for giving me health. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to even go have a job. Thank you for waking me up. And when you operate in gratitude, man, you start to be able to just receive abundance. He just starts to pour into your life. And when you don't, he will take things from you. He'll be like, okay, well, you ain't even happy with what you got, so why would I give you more? You understand what I'm saying to you? So for me, my mindset was the key entity that got me to these next steps, that got me to, sit next to Marcus. When I first met Jemal a few years ago, like he said, I was a cameraman. Like I wasn't doing none of the stuff I'm doing now. Now we speaking on the same stages with billionaires and all of these different things. And that's the level of exposure that you get when you change your mindset. And like he says, you actually have a destination in mind for where you want to go with your life.
Wow.
Yes.
How do we even
He
follow
dropped
up
all
with
the
that?
gems. If y'all didn't pick any of those gems up.
Now, we wanted to open it up to someone who had a question in the crowd. And it was an excellent question.
So, Sandy Hogan, Dr. Jemal, I'd like to know, at any given time, when those other doubting moments crept in, what was it that gave you the resilience to persist through every obstacle? And then
You want to repeat the question, Nina?
I mean, I'm
deep
trying
question.
to. I was concentrating. Okay.
at any given moment, when doubt and some of those nasty little, other than faith words crept in, what was it that gave you the persistence to be relentless with where you were going? And name some of those moments that kind of got that you overcame?
Yeah, and it's so crazy, and that's a great question. And I'm trying to, like, whenever somebody asks a question, I put myself in the place that I was. My faith is so strong. I was once told by a prophet one time that I had the gift of faith. And I didn't even know exactly what that meant, but I understand now that I've been around. My faith is not the same as everybody's. I think early on, before I started, and I talked about this, I almost lost my life when I was my second month on the job as a police officer. And I talked about how this 16-year-old kid, I was just going to take him home for a curfew violation. And he took off and ran, pushed me, took off and ran, jumped on the fence. He was cutting himself on barbed wire. And I was pulling him down. I tried to get him off the barbed wire. As I grabbed him, he reached in his waistband and pulled out a Tech 9. And with a Tech 9, you don't have to keep pulling the trigger. He just held the trigger down. By the grace of God, I grabbed the gun and we started fighting over the gun. And he was still holding the trigger down. And right now I got 50% hearing in my right ear. And so a lot of times, like, I read people's lips. I can't hear that often in this ear because of that incident that took place. And I didn't get shot. He didn't get shot. He actually lived. And I was just telling them early on that something happened, right? And that call that, because it was a curfew violator call that I got on the radio to go take those minors home. I call that call my wake-up call in life. And actually in my book is a chapter and it's called The Wake-Up Call. I actually thank that kid for actually saving my life because I was operating in a sense of fear before that. I was walking in a sense of just like I got tomorrow. I was walking in a sense of like every day I was still playing video games at the time. Matter of fact, that day, that was my last time ever playing a video game a day in my life.
Wow.
I didn't have things in order. My faith wasn't even, I think, definitely wasn't as strong. But that day that actually, I'd say that kid saved my life, but still a part of me died. A lot of people that knew me, friends, family members, they said that after I got shot at that day, I never was the same. And I walked in a sense of, it was like a peace and a calm that was over me, even when that kid was shooting. I don't even remember hearing the gunshots. And they literally found the shell casings and they said they counted 16 shell casings. And they just couldn't believe that they saw my hand. They had to put bandages on my hands. They had fire from the gun, burnt my hand. And they couldn't believe that I didn't get shot. And I feel like God gave me a second chance that day. And I literally, after that day, I showed God and my family and my wife that I was going to walk in crazy faith. I was just going to believe. And at the end of the day, at the end of our life, all of our destinations going to be the same, right? We're going to pass away, right? Everybody passes away. But I'm like, I realized that day that I never even lived. And I didn't live, man. Up to that point, I haven't even lived life. I haven't even experienced life to the fullest. And so it was at that moment where I started walking in, like, I'm talking about this different kind of faith. I started to, one of my favorite scriptures, and it's crazy because I was trying to think of the actual scripture but it's like, count it all joy when trials and tribulations come your way, because it's only then that your faith light kicks in.
Right.
And that's when you become your endurance, right? And so you become mature in faith. And I think a lot of people walk away, or you try to, like, when things go wrong in your life, you try to get away from it. But the Bible teaches us to go through it. Like, literally, it's building your faith muscle. It's actually strengthening you. And I think that once I read that and understood it, I said, no, I need to go through everything that I'm going through because it's going to build my faith. It's going to strengthen my faith muscles. It's going to make me, I'm supposed to be excited when I go through things. And so now when things happen to me, or when things start happening over the time, even with that shooting, as opposed to saying, why God, or why me? I start saying, man, thank you. Thank you, God, for letting it be me, because what it's doing is strengthening me. And now I can go through any situation. And so my faith is crazy strong. I wish I can tell you, like, over the last 23 years, I can't tell you a time that I doubted.
Nice.
And the reason why I say that, I'm not even joking. I wish I could, for the sake of content, I wish I could give you a time when I doubted. I can't. I live because my God he done saved me through so much. And from that point on, my muscles have been physically getting stronger in my faith. My endurance has been getting stronger. And that's why I can get on the stage and speak in front of 22,000 people and not even sweat. That's why I can go ahead and never built a skyscraper day in my life and go stand there and put down X amount of millions of dollars to go build a skyscraper. That's why I can sit here in the story with my son, with my wife. And I can tell you times my wife faith got weak. I can tell you time when everybody else around me faith got weak. And yet I still believed. I took my faith to the next level because of everything that I've been through before that. And what I mean by the next level is that time with my son, we was trying to conceive a son. It took 7 years to try to conceive him. And everybody around us was doubting except me and my wife. And then in that 6th year, my wife gave up. She said, I'm tired. She's like, I want to go on with my life. I'm tired of feeling this feeling of, is it going to happen? Is this the month? She said, I'm just ready to get on with my life. And I told her, you can go ahead and you can give up. And I said, I'm not going to fault you. I'm not going to blame you. I'm going to have enough faith for the both of us. And it was at that time where I said that because of what I went through, because of everything, because of every trial, every disappointment, because of everything I went through, that was the time when I started to go in on my faith and I started to get crazy with it. And that's when I went and I bought, before my wife, she wasn't even pregnant, I bought boy clothes. She wasn't even, we didn't even have a son. The doctor said they don't know what's wrong. And I put a room there for him. I put his name on the wall. I bought him a crib. I bought him clothes. I did everything. If he had a social security number, I would have got him a bank account. I'm not even joking. And I think what I learned though, the Bible said, don't count it all joy. I went through that because what it taught me is that if you really want something in your life, if you really believe that you can have it, then go ahead and prepare a place for it.
Yes.
How many of y'all really believe? Like seriously, some people believe. And that's what I mean. Some people believe to the point where they like, I believe, I believe. And I think sometimes we think that just saying we believe. But when I show God, I prepared a place. Put your money where your mouth is. Yes. If you really believe for that thing that you're hoping for, then go ahead and go prepare a place for it.
Get it.
That reason why it might not be here right now is because you have not prepared a place for it. You ain't even got room to receive what it is that you've been praying for. And so that's how my faith level works now. Anything and everything that I do, I prepare a place beforehand. I show God that I believe so much that I'm going to walk in expectancy.
Yes.
Before it even comes to me, before you bless me with it. And what I'm showing God is that I'm showing you how much I believe in your word, how much I believe in you, that I'm already preparing for what it is that you're going to show me. So to go back to your question, I can't give you a time period since before that shooting took place. Before that, I probably doubted everything.
No, that boy's he's pod.
I doubted everything.
Only on Stand On Your Business podcast. So guess what? On Instagram and InvestFest, y'all saw this man on the stage. He only got to speak for 15 minutes.
It was 20.
20?
It was 20. They were telling me to get off the stage. They was flashing. It was 20. I did my 20.
But not everybody, but some of those people in the audience, they saw a person that got on the stage to tell a story in 20 minutes and had no idea what this man had actually been through, had no idea what our guests have actually gone through. So sometimes when we see things out there on social media, it's easier just to say it can only happen for them because that is an excuse. So that way we can't get to our next level.
Yeah, we talk ourselves out of it. And that's really, our words really matter.
Words matter.
And we talk ourselves out of the things that it is that we want. It's nothing that you can't have. I'm a believer of that.
Man, me too.
I'm not only a believer of it, I'm evidence of it.
Facts.
Walking streets. So let's go. Let's get another question from the audience.
Yes.
We got Nick Price.
Question is for Jemal. You talked about the most important thing of real estate is building a team. What is that conversation like, the intimate conversation like with that team member at home?
What's the intimate conversation like with that team member?
Yeah, as far as you guys go.
So you're not talking about the real estate team. You're talking about wife, family, kids, your home team.
Oh, okay, that team. Yeah. That's what I was about to say. When you said, what is it like at home? I'm like, they're not coming to my house. I was like, bro, you getting too close to your team. Oh, you had me at first. I was like, yo. Oh, I was like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe bring his team to the house. Maybe I was about to invite him to Thanksgiving. Yeah, so, yeah, all right, that team. The team. Y'all, bro, the team is already on board. Yeah. You wanna know why? Because, and a lot of men make this mistake, right? Not you, But I'm saying a lot of men make this mistake, bruh. We do things and we like, man, I'm the visionary, I'm the leader, I'm the head. You know, God made me the head, and this, you know, this is what I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm gonna take this money here and I'm gonna put it, bruh. I before I do anything, I paint the vision. I make the vision so clear to my wife that she's already been part of it mentally with me. We got this thing that we do. We don't sit up and talk about TV shows. We talk about like visions. Remember, I told you all that before we even bought our house, like right now, we live in a 21,000 square foot house.
In the neighborhood.
In Chicago. It took me 5 minutes to get here. We live in a 21,000 square foot house.
So when you said you was 5 minutes away, you had just left the crib.
I just left the house. Yeah, just left the house. Think about this, man. Before we got there, we created this vision. And I didn't just create the vision. I brought her in my vision. I told her one day we were gonna live in a house and it's gonna mansion. And I said it's gonna have so many rooms that we're gonna be able to get lost in it. And the reason why we're gonna have this mansion is because we're gonna have all our houses gonna be the house that all the family gonna go to, and we're gonna celebrate, and Thanksgiving and Christmas is your family and my family. We're gonna have this huge table, and man, it was just gonna be a place that our grandkids gonna wanna come to, and we're gonna have a swimming pool. We created this vision. And then when I created the vision with my mouth, I went and visited the vision. Right? I tell people all the time, you gotta visit the vision before the vision visits you. You gotta literally go visit go find the evidence of what it is that you creating vision-wise. And so I told my wife, I didn't just say we're gonna live in a mansion. I went and showed her other mansions. Then I went and Hyde Park and I showed her what these other people look like. And I remember her coming back to me and saying, man, like they look like regular people like us. I was like, they are regular. There's nothing special about them. And you see that man right there? You see that woman? You see her? And she's just sitting there. I'm like, look at this. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, and she's just sitting on the porch, just sipping tea. I was like, I want that for you. I don't want you to have to go. I didn't marry a maid. I married a queen.
Yes, say it again. Say it again.
I married a queen. I want you to come home every single day. If you want to work, fine, you can work. If you don't want to work, then you don't have to work. I want you to live life. Like, live life. So I took her to these people that was living life. I took her to the people not coming home stressed out, going to cook dinner for the kids, doing homework. I took her to people that was living life. I took her to the vision of why. This is why I need to. I painted the vision for her, and then I took her to see the vision of other people, and then now we reverse engineered. Now, baby, these 3-4 properties are standing in the way from us living like this.
Yes.
This is what I gotta do. By that time, I didn't have to ask permission. She was like, boy, what you need?
Where them 3 properties at? Where them 3 properties at?
What you need? And she bought into the vision. We went and we saw kids with plaid outfits on, going to school. Me and her both went to high school together, both in high school. We remember gangbangers there. I remember all this other crazy stuff. We seen kids in plaid outfits going to private school. We didn't even have no children yet, but we said, when we have children, we want to have enough income so our kids to go to private school. Before we even had kids, we went to Morgan Park Academy and we went to the U-High. And we went there and asked them, how much does it cost? And when they told us how much it cost, we came back and I said, how many properties? One kid was like $2,000 a month. And I said, cool, how many properties do I need for that? It was 4-unit building, bringing in $4,000 a month income, boom, 50%, $2,000. All I need is 1 4-unit building for my kid to go to private school. Cool. My wife bought into the vision because she saw what I was doing. It wasn't a selfish vision. It was literally about generational wealth. It was about legacy, and it was about all of us living this unbelievable life. And literally everything we wrote down, every vision we created, we got it all. Everything. So you got to literally, the conversation is, and maybe sometimes the problem some people have is because they keeping the conversation in the house. Sometimes you got to take them outside the house to see what it is we working on.
Show them that vision. I never would have expected that. I never would have thought to say, because a lot of people are visionaries. So to physically take somebody to the dream and let them walk through it.
Yeah.
And then get them on board. Did y'all hear them jams today, y'all? Let's go.
Yeah.
We had another question.
Well, one of the questions I have is, you said something that was so key, right? That you have a actual real estate team. You have your contractors, everyone that you work with, and you specifically have them dedicated to all of your projects. And in this world right now, with so many people not finding good contractors, not building a relationship with them, having them start a project, leaving, what did you do to master that? And have that down pat like that?
Yeah, systems. You gotta have systems in place. And so you don't never find good contractors. You create good contractors.
Say it again.
You don't never find good contractors. You create good contractors.
We just learned that on episode 2.
Write that down.
We just learned that on episode 2. If y'all want to go back to episode 2.
Yeah, contractor's gonna do is like you got to train them how to. You got to train them exactly how you like things. You got to train them how you want your properties renovated. You need to train them. As far as what time to come to work. I put alarm systems in every single property I have, and I give each contractor a code, and so I don't have to go popping up to see if they came to work on time because I know when they disarm. Every time they disarm the property, it shows which contractor did it at what location. Every time they arm the property, it shows which contractor armed it at what time. So I know what time they came, I know what time they left. It's systems you have to have in place. I got property managers, project managers that go pop in, making sure that things are being done. But everything I got going on now is really on autopilot, but even still, it took time, and the more and more you buy properties, the more you're able to expose them to how you want your properties and how you want to manage them.
Yeah, build up a level of trust. And then too, there are other ways you can protect yourself too. Like when you're dealing with contractors, let's say you don't know if they good or not. Don't pay them with cash. Pay them with a credit card. That way they can't run off on you. You know what I mean? If they do try to run off on you, what you do is you call your credit card company and let them know, like, hey, look, we had this agreement. You give the credit card company the contract y'all had. You show the contractor didn't finish the work. And what will happen is the credit card company won't only give you a portion of your money back, they'll reverse everything. And on top of you getting work done for free from that contractor, on top of them probably leaving the equipment at your house and all of this kind of stuff. So now you get to keep all of this stuff. And the person that wasn't answering your phone for the last 2 weeks, they're going to be calling you now.
Yeah,
like, you get what I'm saying?
They want to get paid.
Because they want to get their money back. You get what I'm saying to you? So there are workarounds for all of this kind of stuff. As he said, you just got to put certain systems in place and pretty much train your contractors about, what it is that you're willing to do and what it is you're willing to not do. And you as the leader and the boss, you control the situation, you run the situation, and they got to know that. You know what I mean? Not on no like egotistical or arrogant stuff, but just you let them know like, hey, look, I'm in control of my situation. I know what I want done. I know how I want it done. And the more that you are hands-on with your stuff and the more that you can let people know that you know your stuff, they're not going to play with you.
I have another question. This is important, then I'll be quiet. But when even when I saw the audio that you and Pastor Hannah did, and the one thing that was like, I got to get you by all means necessary is because of your crazy faith, right?
Yep.
But we're living in a world, honestly, where there's so many people living faithless. They don't believe that the infinite possibilities of anything in divine order is meant for them.
Yep.
And I would just say to that person, what is it that they need to do to increase their faith? What are some steps for them, right? Because you had a situation and it helped to change your life. Some people just living dead, right? Walking dead, not even here, not present.
Yeah.
What did you do to build that faith muscle? And I want to hear from a couple.
Yeah, so I would say, that, and it's something that I talked about earlier. Your level of exposure determines your level of success. You have to, if you don't see faith in your life, all you got to do is just get exposed to other people that's got something happening in their life.
Yes.
That's what exposure does. And I tell people, I think that when somebody come up to me and ask me for like $1,000 or $10,000, or I get people ask me for $50,000. I get people ask me crazy money. And it's so crazy that you would rather borrow $50,000 from me than to be in my presence and really get exposed to what it is I do and who I am. And it's like exposure. That's why I tell people, be careful to who and what you get exposed to, because exposure works good and bad, right? You can get exposed to the wrong things. But when you get exposed to individuals that's walking in faith, you can't help. Just look at the disciples, right? Before the disciples became who they were faithless. They didn't have any faith. But as they kept seeing Christ performing miracles, it did something to their eyes and it opened up their eyes. And then eventually they start performing miracles. And so in that same kind of way, for that person that don't have faith, it's like get around other individuals that have faith and watch how your faith muscle grow. Yeah, so that's my short answer.
Yeah, and like he said, it's exposure. For me, I didn't know a lot of things were possible until I was exposed. So, like I said, me coming from the projects, me being adopted, me dealing with all of the traumas that I dealt with as a child, I had a victim mindset initially. And, once I went to high school, I got around guys who were supreme athletes. I mean, a few of my friends went to the NBA. And me being exposed to them, me seeing their level of confidence, though they come from these neighborhoods, they come from these same circumstances or whatever the case may be, they didn't let that determine, whether or not they were going to be successful. And me seeing them and me being around them, it rubbed off on me. And now I'm seeing, all right, now my friend got Coach K coming to the school to see him. He got Bill Self coming to the school to see him. My man won 2 championships with Kobe. My man playing in the All-American game with LeBron. And I'm seeing this like, I can do this. Like, this is not impossible. These guys come from the same places as me, been through the same stuff, the same traumas. And that level of exposure, it allowed me to think bigger and not just think like, okay, this is it for me. And even from there, those relationships turned into more relationships. Through those relationships, I met somebody who talked to me about real estate. And from there, they told me about the NACA program. The NACA program allowed me to buy my first property with no money down. Yeah. From there, I started telling people about my story. From there, I started getting relationships because people are attracted to me because of my story. From there, I meet a Jemal King, who now is my mentor, who's teaching me how to scale my real estate business. And it all started with a small level of exposure. And that's what exposure does to you. Like these lights, this is exposing us on stage. If you turn these lights off, it's going to be really, really dark. You don't know who you are. But as soon as these lights come on,
you're exposed.
You get what I'm saying to you? And it's the same thing with the people that you surround yourself with. They will cut the lights on and expose you to so many different things. It's on you to see it, though, and it's on you to take action on it.
You know what? And that, like you said, you hit it. How many of y'all know Eric Thomas? All right.
That's everybody in the room.
So I always got to ask. So Eric Thomas, I met him I came to his first conference in 2014, right? I was a police officer. He was just starting out. And we didn't get connected, right? I started speaking with him probably I was just doing question and answer and sitting on a panel like this in 2018, right? 2019, we both decided to become partners, like business partners type deal. When I first got personal with E, he only had one house, right? The house that he lived in. When I first got personal with him, I didn't speak. I didn't have any speaking engagements, anything. He's the #1 motivational speaker in the world, right? Because now we are connected unconsciously.
Exposure.
This man now owns, E.T. got a house he got 3 houses in Michigan. He got a mansion in San Diego. He got another house in Alabama. He's working on something else. And now I went from the squad car, working as a cop, to now speaking in front of hundreds of thousands of people and an international speaker. I was in Dubai. It was probably about 15,000 people in Dubai. I'm at InvestFest, 22,000 people. And literally now, and I watched E when he's about to build, he just did he just spent $900,000 on his backyard in San Diego because he lived on the mountain. And he literally just renovated it, got in the swimming pool with the, his logo and everything. Mm-hmm. And I saw him talking to the contractor and he was sounding like me. It was so weird the way he was doing it. And I was like a proud father. I was just sitting over there. I was like, man, just prior to that 2 years ago, E would have been scared, stuttering. And it was crazy because when I told E that, I said, man, E, I saw you talking to the contractor, man. I said, bro, I was like a proud father. And then E was like, he said, Ma, he called me Ma. He said, Ma, I know the feeling. Because when you were speaking in front of 22,000 people, I was like a proud father.
Oh.
And I said, wow.
Look at that exposure.
Exposure, though. That's what it is. Yeah, unconsciously. It's exposure will put you to the front of the line. And that's why I think a lot of you all going into 2024 now, literally start writing down, how can you get exposed? First you got to go back to what we talked about. You got to know what you want. What's the destination? And then now, what's the vehicles? And then now, how could I get exposed in each one of these areas? How could I get exposed on a high level? I'm telling you, it would change your life. Y'all, I'm not supposed to be, I never took a class. I'm not supposed to be speaking like this. I promise y'all I'm not. I mean, it still blows my mind. Now listen, I brought him with me. I just spoke after Invest Fest, 22,000 people. And then all of a sudden I with Pastor
Oh,
not
we
Pastor Hannah,
did Living Word.
I did Living Word.
It was a few hundred
Winston,
kids.
Bill Winston. They called me up. Bill said, Bill Winston want me to speak at Living what? And literally, but it was with children. Like, I didn't even know it. I brought him. I said, hey, man, I need you to come with me, man. Me and my wife, we walk in the building. I'm talking about, they told me it was going to be high schoolers. Man, it was like sixth graders, fifth graders, sixth. I said, oh, man, I can't talk to it. But I got up there, y'all, and I just literally, it's like God took over me. And these little kids, man, we was charged up, ran off the stage, and I ran in the audience like I can, I win. And the little kids, we was going. I was like, man, it's just, like I say, exposure.
Let's go. Okay, let's go. Question in the back.
What's your question, buddy?
My question is, so what are some of the best ways, in your opinion, to get as good as you are with speaking and as good as you are with money? And how do you know if someone that you think is close to you is taking advantage of you or stealing your money?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a heavily packed question.
I'm gonna reverse your questions. That last question you asked, how do I know if somebody's taking advantage of me and stealing my money? I'm still trying to figure that one out. That's why I started with that one. I don't know.
That's what we need you for.
Right. All right. But now that you asked that question, I'm gonna go check and make sure and go dot my I's and cross my T's, because that is true. We do so much that you really have to make sure that, you know, that everybody don't wish the best for you. And there's some people that's opportunist, and they possibly can be doing that. So you're right. I need to put my police hat back on and check that out. But as far as how do you get good being a speaker, I've never taken a speaking class, right? There's a lot of people that take speaking classes, and I've known people that's been speaking for the last, I say probably the last several years, and they have not even touched stages that God has blessed me to be on. The reason why I believe that I have, like within the last 4 years, have shot up so fast, definitely one part of it is something I was talking about before. I feel like I'm walking in my purpose right now. Like, this is what God called me to do, right? And when you walk in purpose, when you walk in purpose, man, it's just, you just find favor. Like, you know, literally God blesses you. People that you can't even imagine call your phone and ask you to come speak. I just spoke at the church, right? Pastor Hannah, by the second service, at the end of the second service, we were eating lunch. Pastor Hannah, you know, lunch for everybody. And Pastor Hannah was like, he ran over to my room that he had, me and my family in there. And he was just like, wow. You know, he talked, wow. And he was like, yo, this is like, God is amazing. And I was like, what's up, Pastor? He was like, online, he's like, I got a couple pastors from like Africa, South Africa, asking, well, can Pastor King come out to South Africa? I was like, yo, like, it's when you're walking in purpose, man, it's amazing. It's the best feeling in the world. As a young man, you're gonna spend your whole life trying to search for things, like, you know, to make you feel good, right? You're gonna search for things, and I'm telling you, as a 46-year-old man, there's no better feeling than walking in the favor of God. Mm-hmm. And with that favor, you ask, how do you get good? I speak from the heart. I literally ask God, before, anytime, even before I came here, I pray. And I literally always ask God, don't let me say to them what I want to say. Like, you literally, because you know the people that's here. Well, when I was speaking in front of 22,000 people, you know the people that's in the audience. You know that somebody came here to hear a word. Somebody came here to hear something. Use me as a conduit. Let me say what it is that you want me to say and speak to the heart of that person. And so that's how, just speaking with my heart and not being coached. You know, a lot of times you get speakers, they're super dynamic, how they speak, they rhyme, they use these big words. I don't do that, man. I just speak from the heart, and I really just literally talk to that person. And I pick one person in the audience. You know, a lot of times I'll look, maybe if it's three sides, it might be a person this side, a person that side, and it might be a group of people. And I look and see who's the person that's the most engaged. And then I literally just look at that one person when I'm here. I look at that one person when I'm here. And I look at that one person when I'm there. And at the end, that person always come up to me, or the people that sit next to them. Man, I feel like you was talking to me. And I'll be like, I really was talking to you. I'll be like, I was talking to you, because you can't see all the people in the back. So just be real with your speech. You're capable of doing it too. Just always speak with your heart.
And you could tell you can speak because of the question that you asked.
Exactly.
Like, it was a very, elaborative question, and you spoke very, very well. As far as like, people's taking from you or, taking advantage of you, your intuition gonna let you know that a lot of times. Trust your intuition. Don't, kind of like go off what you think people are or what they should be. Go off of what they show you and go off your intuition, because 99.9% of the time, it won't lie to you. And don't overly put somebody in charge of something that you own. That's how you protect, people from stealing from you and all that kind of stuff. Always keep an open eye on your bank accounts, on your contracts, all of these things. Never just give the power of attorney 100% over to somebody. Always have some type of control of what you got going on. And as Jemal said, man, walk in your passion and tell the truth. Don't start trying to talk about stuff that you don't know about. Talk about your stories, talk about things that you've gone through, talk about your personal experiences, and that's what's going to resonate with people, and that's what's going to make you become a better speaker, because you're speaking about your truth.
And
About investments. Like, where do you put your money so that it can get invested in? Because I know from my mom that you're not supposed to just save the money.
Your mama's very smart.
Very smart.
Very smart. Good job, Mama. Yeah, absolutely. Good job. Yeah, it's simple with me. I keep my money in the bricks.
He keep his money in the bricks.
I keep my money in the bricks.
I knew that answer.
Like literally, I don't like keeping money in the banks. I keep enough. So my wife, she has a certain what kind of security level, right? She's like, Jemal, look, you do what you do. We just need at least, please let me just keep this amount of money in the bank just for my security. And I'm like, all right, cool, because I keep all my money in the bricks. If you think about it, real quick, first property I ever bought, I put $15,000 down on that property, right? That $15,000, if I would put that money in the bank, if I would have just left it in the bank or kept it in the bank, and I'm gonna give you a good interest rate, 1.5%, right? And savings accounts are usually 0.001%. But if I would have kept that money in the bank, it would have made me about $224 or $25 annually. That means for the year, right? $15,000, I would have made $224 a year off of having that $15,000 in the bank, right? But because I invested that $15,000 in this building, my 4-unit building, I was making a net profit of $3,000 a month. So, and I call that interest payments. So instead of now annually getting $224 off of that $15,000, I've made over $36,000 annually from investing in the building. And that $15,000 is still in the bricks, it's still in the equity. So I just leveraged it. I took the money out of the bank and I transferred it into the building. And then now, as opposed to me getting $224 for the year by having it in the bank, I now receive $36,000 for the year by having it in the bricks. Yeah. I just taught you real estate.
How old are you in the bank? How old are you?
That's a good way for an adult, but
So I was gonna add on. So I was gonna add on to that too. So I was gonna add on to that. So I was gonna add on to that too. So just to give you a couple more options. So Mal keep his money in the bricks. I keep some of my money in the bricks as well. I also invest in myself a lot, whether it be me educating myself, me learning stuff, you know what I mean? Me putting money behind my businesses, my clothing line, just my different products. I also invest in the stock market. So the stock market is the biggest and the best companies in the whole wide world. And for me, it's easy because it's like, all right, what are products that I use every single day? If ever I want to order something, I'm using Amazon. I talk on an Apple phone every single day, all day. They keep making new ones every day, all day long. You know what I'm saying? What's the number one car people driving around there nowadays because they finna stop making regular vehicles, Teslas, electric vehicles? You get what I'm saying to you? So, and then not only that, These are the richest and smartest men in the world and women in the world who run these companies. Why would I try to reinvent the wheel and go and create something different? And if I see Warren Buffett go put $100 million in Apple stock, I'm going to go take my little $5, $10, $100, $500 and put it in Apple stock too. That makes it real easy for me. This is the richest and smartest man in the world. Why would I not follow his steps? You get what I'm saying to you? So don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Man, just do the simple stuff that's been making people rich for hundreds and hundreds of years, which is real estate and the stock market and starting businesses. Those are the 3 biggest and best investments you can possibly do, including yourself.
So how old are you?
I'm 11.
You're 11, okay. So then all right. So I took you to something that you could do when you turn 18. So let me go back down to 11. All right, so I'm gonna tell you how my son right now, he's 7 years old and he's on his way to becoming a millionaire. All right. So I created a book for my son.
Yep.
Right? So I want you to create a book, and a children's book. And because my son was born in faith, I had him create a book of faith. And he got a little children's series, a book of faith. The book costs $20, right? Actually, he sells it for $25. It costs like less than $5 to make, but the $5 take care of all of the costs. So he nets $20 per book. I created a Roth IRA for my son, right? And so we fund his Roth IRA
Book sale.
because of the book sale. We fund his Roth IRA. And so now by the time my son turns 59 and a half, he'll have about $14 million
Yes.
in a Roth IRA. But it's starting now because he started his Roth at 6 years old.
Yeah, and a Roth.
And you can borrow against it during the course of his life. And he can borrow against it. He can leverage it to buy real estate and things like that.
And that's $14
But that's
million
something that you want to start
tax-free.
now.
Yeah, that's
So-
tax-free $14 million.
That's
too.
tax-free, $14 million. That's when you turn 59.
Stand on your business.
So I just gave you, so there you go. That's something you can do now.
Yeah, like
Nothing is an option. So, me and all 4 of my cousins, we're all musicians. How are we supposed to expose ourselves? Go to concert, actually talk to the people? What do you think is the best way?
Yeah, so for one thing, like what you're doing right now, where else, people pay me about $10,000 to $15,000 to talk to me for an hour, one-on-one. $10,000 to $15,000. You literally sitting in front of me right now and you asking some great questions. And just go out to the places that you're doing now. You're exposing yourself you guys got the internet now. Coming up, I didn't have the internet. We didn't have the internet when we were coming up, so just go, what do you want to become a musician? Oh, he is a musician. Okay. Yeah. So
You gotta get that YouTube
Right.
channel going.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say
Gotta
that
get him a
too. So what
podcast.
you can do is you and your cousins start creating content around what y'all doing. And if you are an advanced musician in what it is that you're doing, start teaching other kids about what you do. Because the money and the power is in education. Like I was telling them earlier, the biggest money maker in the country is college because they monopolize off what people don't know. So if you can create a channel on YouTube or Instagram where y'all are not only entertaining people, but y'all are educating people at the same time, it's going to scale your brand up because now people are going to not only follow you because they're being entertained, but they're learning from you too. And this creates a platform for children to come and learn music, how to grow content, because now you're teaching them, all right, y'all, this is how we're growing our following because we started this page and now we're, creating content, teaching you guys how to do the same thing. And everything is content based now. So what you should do, man, anytime y'all get together, y'all start playing, pull out your phone, post it on TikTok, post it on Instagram, post it on Facebook, post it on YouTube. And after a while, something is going to go viral.
make sure you tag
Yep.
all your favorite musicians.
Yep.
And just so you know, my content creator's in the room tonight and she already recorded you. So I'm going to have her get you that video by the end of the night so you can start with that video tonight. So I want to, so this is Stand on Your Business podcast. Guys, we are coming here to challenge you guys to stand on your business, from real estate to mindset to everything that's coming on the next episode. Tune in. I want to thank my special guest for blessing me with the opportunity to do this for us and to do this for our audience. And we appreciate you. I want to let my partner end it here.
Hey, thank you guys so much. Stand on Your Business podcast. Make sure to follow everyone who's on today. And we are excited to have you listening on the next episode.
Stand on your business. Let's go.
Let's go.